All right, let's talk about the crazy shape of our Earth that we're on. If the Earth were a perfect sphere, and this is the center line or where the equator would be, we can measure latitude based off of that angle to the center of the Earth. Now it's about 10,000 kilometers from the equator up to the North Pole. We wanted it to be a perfect 10,000 kilometers from the equator to the North Pole. That's where we got the measure of a meter from. But if we lived on a perfect sphere, 1 degree near the equator would be the same distance as 1 degree near the North Pole. And every 1 degree would be the same amount of distance. And that would be great. 60 nautical miles is 1 degree if you're going east to west along the equator. But a nautical mile is not, 60 nautical miles is not 1 degree when you're going north to south. And here is the reason why. We do not live on a perfect sphere. It's almost perfect sphere, but not quite. It's a little bit wider at the equator than it is up to the North Pole. Now, I've drawn this exaggerated. It's not that much. It's less than 1% different between the equator and the radius at the North Pole. It's less than 0.5% actually. It's not that much, but there is a difference. But to show the difference between geocentric versus geodetic, I'm exaggerating the shape of the Earth. Now, if you're standing at point F, here's the line to the center of the Earth. But if you were to stick your arms out along the horizon, this horizon line or tangent line to where you are on the surface of the Earth, perpendicular to that, straight, drill down straight through the Earth, you don't go to the center of the Earth, you go to a point that's off of center. So this is geodetic center, and this is a geocentric center. We've built latitude longitude based off of geodetic. Now look at the difference of these angles. Here you're at 46 degrees latitude. To the center of the Earth is only 37 degrees. So as I come up, at night, when you're at the North Pole, that's 90 degrees latitude. At the equator, you're 0 degrees latitude. But let's go halfway. Let's go 45 degrees latitude. The distance to the equator is a shorter distance than the distance to the North Pole. So as you come up, you have to cover a greater distance per degree than if you're near the equator. So we have to do some mathematical calculations when we're trying to convert from latitude, longitude to MGRS. There's some crazy mathematical computations that I'll show you in a minute, because degrees cover greater distances near the North Pole than near the equator. Now, realistically, it's not that much. It's only, we're living on a surface that's a little bit different, not extremely amount of difference between the radius to the North Pole and the radius to the equator. But because there is a difference, we have to account for that, and I'll show you that in the formulas coming up in just a moment.